Hey YouTube, it's Dean's Acting Advice. Yesterday I taught you how to, if you're a beginner, read a script, and today I'm just going to use the same script from Stranger Things to try and teach you how to analyse what's going on in the script, which is something that's incredibly important to do before you even begin to think about learning lines and that kind of thing. And you want to read that scene, it's so easy to just sort of like focus on, oh, what does my character say? Blah, blah, blah. That doesn't matter right now. So read it at least 5, 10 times. And you'll start to get a grasp on what's happening in the situation. And there'll be clues all the way through the script as to what's going on in the situation. And usually two characters, they want opposing things. This script, with it being Hopper and Joyce, from Stranger Things, and Joyce's son Will has gone missing. So obviously Joyce is incredibly stressed and she wants her son to be found. And from Hopper's perspective, you'll see once I start analysing it, I'll pull it up on the screen, that Hopper, while trying to get some clues as to his disappearance from her, he's also trying to reassure her that he's most likely fine. So Joyce keeps coming back at him saying, no, he doesn't do this, etc., etc. But I say etc. a lot in these videos. But let's go to the script. Okay, here we have the script. So let's try and analyse what's going on here. So the scene heading at the top, it's internal, it's in Hopper's office. He's a detective. And it's morning, and so it begins with whap, whap, whap. Type, hammers, slam, ink onto a police report. A single ominous word forms, one letter at a time, missing. So that's a pretty huge clue as to what's going on in the scene. Then we have an action line or an action description. Hopper looks up from the typewriter. He now has on a pair of reading glasses, which lend him a more earnest look. His desk, however, shatters the illusion. It's cluttered with papers and mugs and candy wrappers, like the desk of a child. So I guess the point of that paragraph is giving you clues as what Hopper's character is like. While he's serious about his job, he's a bit of a slob. Joyce paces, dragging on a cigarette. She's on edge. So far out, she might just fall right off. So that's pretty obvious as well that Joyce is in a state of high stress. And Joyce says, I've been waiting an hour. And Hopper says, and I apologise again. So the fact that she's been waiting an hour, she's obviously even more stressed about whatever's wrong with her. I mean, I spoke before about what's wrong with her, but we're analysing this if we don't know any of that. And then in bold, Joyce says, a goddamn hour. And now the fact that it's in bold doesn't mean you need to say it louder or shout it. It just means that she's just reiterating that she's frustrated by having to wait that long. And Hopper says, I understand, but a boy his age most likely is playing hooky. So Hopper there is just trying to reassure her that he's probably fine. Joyce says, no, not my Will, no. He wouldn't do that. He's not like that. So Joyce is trying to communicate to Hopper that, obviously that she doesn't think that there's nothing wrong and that this is out of the ordinary. And Hopper says, you never know, my mother thought I was on the debate team when really I was screwing Chrissy Carpenter in the back of my dad's boat. So he's trying to lighten the mood there and once again try and reassure her that he's fine by giving an example of what he'd done as a kid. So Joyce says, she's trying to really push a point now that Will's not like you. He's not like me. He's not like most. She takes another drag on a cigarette and fights tears. So there again, her character obviously is trying to get him to take some action and to be more serious about the situation. And Joyce says he's got a couple of friends, but everyone else, they make fun of him. They call him names and laugh at him, his clothes. And Hopper says, his clothes, what's wrong with his clothes? She's pointing out that, you know, other kids make fun of him and that he's different. And Hopper talking about his clothes, I feel like he's asking that in a procedural way that it might help him in finding him. Joyce, what's wrong with his clothes? Too colourful. I don't know. Does it fucking matter? Like she's frustrated by his question there, which is pretty obvious. Hopper says maybe. So he's he's pointing out that what he's asking can be relevant. Joyce takes another drag. It's just another indication of a stress. And when it says things like this, like Joyce takes another drag, when you're acting it, you don't have to take a drag on a cigarette at that point. Like if it's really, I think, in my opinion, a mistake if it says take a drag on a cigarette, if it says laugh, if it says cry, if it says anything like that, you're gonna make it really hard on yourself, and your performance can seem not in the moment and just very contrived and mechanical, I guess. And what's happening as the scene goes along and you're trying to believe you're in it, you'll just automatically do things like drag on a cigarette, or you might laugh when you're not supposed to, or they might say cry, but you might not be able to. But you know, sometimes human beings don't always show their most inner emotion on the surface. They try and hide it. So anyway, let's continue. Joyce says he's just different, all right. Lonnie always said he was queer and called him a fag. So that's, we don't know this just by reading this, but Lonnie is missing Will's father. Doesn't sound like a very nice guy. And Hopper says, is he? And Joyce says, what? Like as if she's frustrated by that question. It almost sounds like she's kind of, because she's so highly stressed, she's kind of shocked by it and taking anything the wrong way. Hopper says a fag. And I think Hopper's just saying that once again as a procedural thing that it may help him in finding him. Joyce says he's missing. That's what he is. So she's once again trying to press Hopper to make him take action and be more serious about it. Hopper scratches his stubble. Like once again, that's an action line. You don't have to scratch your damn stubble where it says it there. Like it's just kind of trying to say that Hopper's just in his mind, you know, ticking over what he should do. Now we know with the next line that what he was just thinking about is he scratched his stubble. Hopper says, you hear from Lonnie lately, so obviously he's thinking the father might have something to do with it or know something about it. Joyce hesitates. This is an uncomfortable subject. And Joyce says, he was in Philly last I heard. That was about a year ago, but he's got nothing to do with this. He doesn't give two shits about that boy. So that's Joyce kind of shutting down Hopper's theory that it's something to do with the dad. Hopper rummages around his desk, unearths a pen and a pad. Hopper says, what's his number? Because despite Joyce saying that, he thinks, you know, it can be a family member that knows about the whereabouts or has taken the kid. Joyce, I told you Lonnie's got nothing to do with this, so she's she's frustrated there. And Hopper says, kid goes missing 99 times out of 100, the kid's with a parent or relative. So yeah, more reassurance. And Joyce says, what about the other time? And Hopper's like, what? Like as if he doesn't remember what he just said. And Joyce, because she's in such a highly stressed state, she's clinging to the fact that he said 1 out of 100, or whatever it was. So she said, Joyce says, you said 99 out of 100. What about the other time, the 1? And Hopper removes his reading glasses, leans forward. Once again, you don't have to do that. But it's just kind of, he's doing something physical to try and drive his point home that Will's probably fine. Hopper says, this is Montauk, Joyce. In 4 years, the worst thing I've seen. You know what it was. And now it says beat in brackets. That means that it's like a pause. And this is a different subject, but a director might say, take a beat before he's, between this dialogue and that dialogue. Other might say, take a couple of beats. And usually just I guess it means seconds in a way, but not, not precisely. You can kind of feel how long the break, the pause needs to be. And so he goes on to describe the worst thing he's seen. When that seagull attacked Eleanor Gillespie, thought her hair was a nest. And it was about 5 seconds from shitting an egg when we showed. So he's back again with more reassurance, and as we see in this next action line, that Hopper chuckles at the memory, trying to lighten the mood. So he's trying to reassure her, make her feel less concerned. And Joyce begins to relax a little, but only a little. And so this next line kind of suggests that Joyce is thinking about what Hopper said about the father, Lonnie. Joyce says, I'll call Lonnie. He'll talk to me before he talks to her. And she pauses. And Hopper says, pig. And Joyce says, cop. So Hopper's obviously taken offense to that because he felt that she was going to say pig, and we all sort of know that she was going to say pig. Maybe she wasn't. But it's interesting that he's sensitive about that. Anyway, Joyce sits down. She snuffs her cigarette in an ashtray. Then she looks back up at Hopper. Her eyes are bloodshot, glassy. Once again, don't get caught up in, trying to get tears in your eyes in that moment. Because if you come into the scene, you can work it. With me, I'm going away from script analysis now, but with a scene like this, if I'm playing Joyce, I'll maybe do something where I'm breathing or listen to some music that may get me in an agitated state. I wouldn't always suggest doing this, but maybe you could have 1 too many coffees before you shoot this scene. That'll put you on edge. And where it says things like her eyes are bloodshot and glassy, if you really listen to the other actor and you stay focused on what your character wants, in Joyce's case, that she wants to find her son, and she feels like Hopper's not listening, and so she keeps pushing him. And if you imagine you're in that situation and somebody keeps giving you roadblocks to taking you seriously, if you listen to the other actor doing these things that keep stopping you from getting the thing you want, you will get frustrated if you really listen to them. Anyway, that's steering away from script analysis again as well. But Joyce says, you find my son, Hop, find him. So Hopper takes this in all at once. He feels burdened with responsibility he doesn't want. He finds his composure, nudges his glasses back on his nose, and resumes typing. So at the end of the scene, Hopper seems to take on board that this could be serious. And he's nervous about that. But then he clicks into work mode, and he's gonna he's going to do something about it. So, and then it ends with whap, whap, whap. Hammer type slams paper. So yeah, he's back to work. So thanks again for watching one of these videos. If you don't mind, like, share, subscribe, pass it on so maybe I can help some other people. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.